What's up, guys? It is Sam here, and today I have an awesome video on Tesla using the same framework where we look at the data to try to understand what is going on with Tesla on a very, very macro level. And we've got some interesting videos coming up too on the Cybertruck and some meta-analysis on where we think the demand is coming from. So if you want to stick around for that video, make sure you press that subscribe button. But with that being said, if it's your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you that are returning, first of all, you'd better be pressing that thumbs up button. Second of all, it's good to freaking see you. Now, let's get into it. So, we've got Google Trends up here, and hopefully you guys can see this. Google Trends tracks all of the search volume for Google across the web, as well as YouTube. So we're going to take a look at some of this on a worldwide basis, and we're going to kind of walk our way in to more of the micro data and take a look at some of the social. So what I have right now is worldwide search volume for the word Tesla over the past 5 years, and this is in terms of images. So Google has image search. This is kind of interesting. It is, we can see here, let me scroll up so you guys can see this. We can see that it was way down here below the 25 mark substantially. And over the past 5 years, what does that look like? Well, that looks like a complete trend up and to the right. And then we see this giant spike around the Tesla Cybertruck event, which I did order one. If you guys want to see a video on that, let me know down below in the comments and use the hashtag STOLT so that I can find the comments. At the end of these videos, we like to do a Q&A, and I can search in the YouTube analytics for hashtag STOLT to pull those up. So this is on image search, but let's check YouTube on a worldwide basis. This is a little bit more cloudy, if I remember. We don't see as much of a direct trend in here. It looks like it was up, 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 and then it's kind of flattened out a little bit. But again, if we look at like just a couple months right here, right? We can see that there's a decent amount of space between the 25 line and what the search volume was versus, we'll just skip the Tesla truck here, but before the event even happened, still below the 25 line, but much closer in terms of the distance between there. So still, even on YouTube, we see a before the event, an uptick. But let's check the web now. This is interesting. This is all of the search volume for Google across the web. This is the most impactful trend because we see that it is almost halfway between the 0 and the 25 mark 5 years ago. And now it's above the 25 mark and continuing up from there since the cyber event happened, which is absolutely crazy on a worldwide basis. And you come down here, and it's interesting, Norway has a tremendous amount of search. Now, if you look at Norway, I think they have the highest percentage of overall EV sales relative to ICE engine vehicles out of any country because the incentives and whatnot over there. There's also Siberia, and you can see the search volume over here, which is kind of interesting. We're going to do a meta-analysis on a statewide basis in a minute here, but I just wanted to show you this. Now, let's go in one step further and take a look at the US. So this is the, again, 5 years US, and this is the YouTube search volume. So if we just look at the US and we look at this YouTube search volume, it's a much clearer trend. It's just up and to the right. I mean, it is a US company, so that kind of makes sense where you'd have much more searchable volume for that over time. And I'm going to get into how this is impacting Tesla. The currency of the 21st century is not the same as it was. It's attention. And if you can garner attention, you get sales. And one of the ways this is evident is I'm going to get into in a second. I do invest in Tesla. This is not investment advice, nor should you do like anything that I'm doing, but this is kind of interesting. Let's come in to the past 12 months on YouTube. Again, we see an upward trend. It's over a shorter time period, so it's less evident, but we're below the 25 mark right here for several months. And before the Tesla cyber event, we see again above the 25 mark. So there's definitely a trend up. Let's take a look at the 12 months, and let's take a look at the web search. just in the US. Again, less, even a little bit even less of a trend here. If we took the average of these days versus the average of the days before the event, there's still an uptick in the volume associated with it. Let's take a look at the image search. Clearly this is what I do for fun. We can see that there's, again, a uptick. So what I'm doing is compare, hopefully you guys can see this. You guys can, the difference between the 25 search volume mark and the blue line here versus it over here. And you can see the numeric number 14, 16, 13 over here versus 16, 17, 18, or 17, 18, 16 in this area. So definitely an upward tick. And these giant spikes of attention are super interesting because it almost gives you a new baseline of where the attention is going to be, where more than likely after it settles down, it'll probably stay above the 25 mark there. So we do, if you actually take a look at Tesla's website, we use Alexa.com, which is a traffic analysis engagement website, and they rank sites around the globe based upon these engagement factors and the traffic to these sites. So let's come down over here to Tesla's and take a look at this. So globally, out of all the sites that Alexa ranks, it's ranked in the top 1,500 of all sites. That's pretty crazy. And we see what the event did, because you could see a little bit of a trend down here, slightly down, but definitely a clear trend down and to the right in terms of the website popularity. Then the event happens and an upward trend. So it not only had a giant spike in attention, but it also looks like it shifted the trend from a slight downward trend to a slight upward trend. We'll have to see how this plays out over the next couple of days. But look at this. In the US, Tesla.com is ranked 341th. Now, out of all the sites that Alexa.com ranks, which is ridiculous to have that kind of ranking. And you can see, if we come down here, this is where traffic comes from and where it goes right afterwards. And the top two sites are YouTube and Google, Twitter, Facebook. And then over here it's Facebook and Twitter where they go afterwards. So the amount of attention that Tesla has is absolutely insane. Why do people go to a website? Well, generally speaking, people go to a website for two reasons: to seek out some type of information and to place an order for a product or service of whatever it might be. But for comparison purposes, before we get into that, I did the same thing for BMW, Audi, Lexus, and Mercedes. And Tesla's site on a global basis, as well as in the US, is substantially ahead of the competition. The next closest on a global basis is BMW, and they are more than 4 times more popular than BMW's website is. Their website is ranked like 8,300th or something versus 1,400th. And in the US, it is more than 5 times more popular. So the amount of additional attention that Tesla's getting in terms of interest is just absolutely tremendous. And we saw that Elon Musk, after the event happened, what that equated to. Which, let's jump over there really quick. 250,000 orders in the first 5 days, which if you take he tweeted 3 updates. First it was around 150,000, then 200, and then 250 in the first 5 days. And he gave the breakdown of the order proportions for the 3 different versions of the Tesla Cybertruck that are coming out. And if you do the math on that and just assuming that those proportions held from like the 146,000 or whatever orders up until the 250, then that would be like $15 billion of additional revenue with no advertising. That's insane. That is insane. The attention is the currency of the 21st century. So getting back into that, we've got some more data to take a look at. This is Tesla's YouTube channel, and we get to see that there's been over 7.5 million views on their channel in the last 30 days. That's a lot of attention there. And that does not even slightly capture the hundreds of videos that different channels have put out about the Cybertruck of additional attention, which more than likely, I saw something from Ben at Teslanomics that he used the API from YouTube, and there was over 100 million views on videos relating to, and they had the Tesla Cybertruck in the title of the video. That's tremendous, absolutely tremendous. Another derivative of Tesla, I would say, is Elon Musk. So we can kind of understand what's happening with Elon Musk, and that also kind of gives us an indication of what is happening with Tesla. And we see that he's gained almost 700,000 followers in the last 30 days. He's already one of the most followed people on Twitter out of all the people on Twitter, which is absolutely crazy. He's got 30 million followers. 30 million followers on Twitter. This is a tremendous, tremendous amount of attention that can be utilized to achieve whatever somebody's trying to achieve, whether that's a cause, whether that's increasing sales, whether that's drawing the top talent in the world. When you have the attention and people want to work on something that's super impactful, they want to feel like they have a purpose. And having all this attention allows Tesla and Elon to achieve whatever they're trying to achieve. And because he's got his fingers in so many different things, he's able to actually pull these together. And you can see some of this when they did the presentation on the steel that is used on the Cybertruck. That's the same steel that they're using at SpaceX. And the same thing with the Boring Company. The Boring Company is creating these tunnels in the ground, but they're not using diesel gas to have a boring machine create them. They're using Tesla batteries. And I would guess that the Cybertruck with the solar panels is going to use the same exact technology that Solar City is using for the roofs. Put money on it right now, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong when the truck comes out in 2 years, but I would bet money that the panel on the back of there is going to be the same glass with the solar panels underneath it that is used on Tesla Solar Cities, which is Tesla Solar or whatever it's called now, in the roofs there. And that is absolutely tremendous. I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are down below. I'm in the process of creating a framework using some of what we have here and some financial information to come up with a model for analyzing different stocks and to understand what is going on. So if use the hashtag STOLT in the comment section, then when I go over to my YouTube analytics, I can search for that just like Woodfire Power did here. And this is in reference to the Facebook rankings where we do similar things to what we're doing here. And he said, please run a focus show on Yang statistics. What do you think he needs to do to win Iowa election at #1 slot? Think big. Imagine he is going to win election overall, beat Trump. And with that, what must we do between now and February 3rd to help him win that election? Can you run a show that points out Yang's best qualities and statistics, especially showing his trend over time? This is tricky because so many Yang traffic is being funneled to a ton of, this is true, it is being funneled to a bunch of tiny little YouTube channels, but that's okay because the increase in attention is what he needs. He needs more awareness and attention. And if you can pay for advertising by having other people do the work for you for free, by having all these little YouTube channels, as you mentioned here, talk about him, that's going to be tremendous. That's going to be super helpful because all these little YouTube channels hit different segments of the population, right? Some fucking 35-year-old dude, right? Me, like maybe certain demographic don't want to watch me because I'm abrasive or talk fast or whatever the case is. So they don't watch me, but they watch somebody else who also talks about Yang. And having all this extra attention on him, and awareness is what he actually needs. So I would say, yes, I could probably do a meta-analysis on his social, which could be interesting, and we could do a series on that. My last day at work, I quit my job to do stuff online full time, and I have about 20 months worth of runway in terms of savings. So we'll see how this plays out. So don't forget to press that subscribe button to follow along. Thank you so much for the comment, Wood Firepower. Let's jump down to the next comment, actually from him as well. This is, or him or her, this is the second comment. Love your analysis. Greedily, I support Yang. I wish you were on the Yang's team so that other camps didn't learn. Interesting. But this is great for everyone to see and learn. So bravo. So what he is referencing is our Facebook research. And we actually have a power rankings where we take YouTube search volume, Google search volume, their website ranking, their social media rankings, their donations, some awareness factors, and we put all this stuff together to come up with an overall ranking for the Democratic candidates that are running for president to see who's actually winning, not based upon some poll that has 1,000 people or 1,400 people in it, where polling by itself has biases and creates biases, and then the questions in it, and then how the data is obtained, whether it's a phone call or whatever. Like, if anybody tries to call my cell phone to get data from me, they're not going to get through. Like, you're just not going to get my opinion. So trying to understand what people are actually doing, right? Think about, like, if your boss is over your shoulder, how your behavior is, versus when your boss is on vacation, how your behavior is. Generally speaking, most people's behavior is going to be different. We want the most authentic version of what's actually reality. Not when your boss is over your shoulder. Hey boss, I'm a great worker. I'm always working. I'm just going hustling all day long. No, we want to know what's actually happening, and that's why we're doing these. And this is what he's referencing right here. This is great for everyone to learn, see and learn, so bravo. Here's my expectation. Yang is going to win by a landslide. The Democratic nomination go beat to Trump. So it's difficult to say at this point in the game because the attention is so fractured across many people as the field continues to dwindle and we come with one candidate. Excuse me. I think we'll get a better understanding of how anybody would stack up to Trump, because right now Trump would just annihilate any of these people who are running if it was held today, because he's just got so much more attention, and the attention on the other side is so fractured all over the place. So it's really hard to tell the difference. It could be, I do see when I look at Twitter, and that's where I spend some time researching and doing the different hashtags, it does appear that there's way more depth of awareness and support for Yang than any other candidate by, like, I don't know, maybe Bernie is like kind of slightly close-ish, but those two are just probably double anybody else or maybe triple anybody else easily, especially like the second half of the field. They're like 5x what those other candidates have in terms of attention on Twitter for what that is. I don't want to take up the rest of this through here, but let's just go through a little bit more. What does Yang need to do to realize his vision? Continue to get his message out to more and more people. If it's in here and it's his truth and it's the most authentic version of what's inside of him, that's going to come through in his articulation of that message wherever he is able to get that through. And through that process of constantly leveling up the conversation, when you have like fucking mainstream media trying to like act like 6-year-olds, oh, like, what do you think of this person, what they said about this thing or whatever, like, level up the conversation to actually understand what's going on and deal with the actual issues. I think that's probably one of his best traits. In my opinion, that's what I like to do. And we're actually, I'm not going to take up everybody's time for this. I want to get a couple more people in here, but Wood Firepower, thank you so much for your comment. I really do appreciate it. Star Trek, what's good? I'm not going to click on that link right now. We're going to take a look at a couple more here. This is from Nathan Purvis. Pete Buttigieg is directly working with the establishment, corporate elites, billionaire class. He's quite literally a puppet to their every bidding. There's only two candidates that are truly anti-establishment and fighting against them to end their corruption, and that's Tulsi and Bernie Sanders. I did see a headline today from I don't actually follow what these candidates say or what they do, but because I make these videos and I get headlines coming up from Google where today, as I'm scrolling through my newsfeed, even though I'm reading the headlines, I saw something come up on Tulsi Gabbard where she said even if she makes, I can't find the article now, but even if she makes the next debate, she does not plan on attending. I think that's good in terms of sticking with her values and her gut feeling about like it's corrupt. I'm assuming that's what she's thinking and why she wouldn't participate. I have no idea. But from an attention standpoint, I think going on there and just calling the people out would be potentially, a good thing, or creating her own type of platform to have a debate on actual issues and not just some circus for fucking views like what's currently out there, right? I think that would probably be a very, very valuable thing to her if she could put together something like that. Use some of that fundraising to actually put together another campaign, and some of these people like maybe Bernie or Andrew or a couple of the other people come together and participate in this panel that's set up, and they have a independent arbitrator who's actually like trying to understand some of the issues and not like the fucking shit the mainstream media puts out there, and is actually trying to get everybody's opinion in it. I think that would be super valuable for her. Sticking with her values and like, hey, we're not going to be a part of the DNC. We're going to do our own thing, and it's going to be way better than what they're doing because we're going to actually be objective in the way that we approach this. That could be something that would be very valuable for her. I'd love to know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. Don't forget to use the hashtag STOLT so that I can find your comment down below in the YouTube analytics.